This is us waiting on a plane to fly by.
Get strong.
We're down here in downtown Melbourne.
Yep.
Melbourne. Not Australia.
No kangaroos.
No kangaroos. No.
There's some people that act like kangaroos.
Yeah, that's crazy. What we're going to do is a little bit of deliberate practice for wedding shoots by doing some street photography to capture people without looking like a creeper, you know, peeking over the window.
Hey, how you doing? Like that hamburger?
Be able to catch people in the moment, and so they don't look so posed or, you know, give you those crazy smiles like that. Approach people in such a way that they don't feel uncomfortable, and that's one of the reasons why I carry my bag with me. Yeah, where's your bag? You didn't bring a bag. The difference between a professional. What we're going to do is we're going to go through town, take some shots, and we're going to do some critiquing.
Stay tuned.
As we begin our critique, you'll notice that the camera settings are listed, as well as the comparison between the raw image and the edited image. This is Austin Day. He's one of our local street performers. I did ask him if it was okay to take his photo, but to help put the scene at ease, as we promised, we wanted true to life, non-posed pictures. I waited till he got involved in playing and dealing with the audience, and so that I could get some true expressions from him and it wouldn't look staged. As we look at the raw image, of course, it is kind of flat, kind of washed out, as a raw image normally kind of tends to be. And then we brought it into Lightroom, brought up the flesh tones, brought up the wood grain and the bright colors so that it looked like a more natural feel to the photo. This has a particular depth of field. As you can see, it's a 1.8, so it's more of a shallow depth of field. I do have another photo that doesn't have his partner and the dog in the background, but I felt one thing you can do with a photo is kind of create a context for your image. You know, had it been him in the photo, it would have been nice, but whenever you include the troupe, the three of them, you kind of get a feel for what's going on more, so it tells more of the story, I feel. So I did use this one as an example because I appreciated having the team in there. Really, the dog and the way that his partner's dressed really lent itself to the lifestyle that they're living. Again, they do live in Brevard County. It's just they're both artists. As a matter of fact, if you'd like to take a look at some more of Austin's work, he's got a Facebook page that you can check out. So go ahead and check Austin Day out on Facebook, spelled AUSTONDAY. Here we have another image of Austin. Now this particular image, you can tell that there's a slight difference what I did on the second one. In addition to color correcting the photo, I also cropped it to make it a little bit more tighter on him. I wanted to kind of bring that traditional hat with the money in it, because to me, living in New York, seeing Subway and street buskers, this is kind of just iconic for anybody who's a street performer. Austin here, his partner's telling a joke. He's in on it. He evidently likes the joke and he wants to be a part of the punchline. That is truly something you'd see of a street performer getting involved with their audience. This image was actually suggested by Chuck. He said, you know, I want to get a shot of Austin playing the guitar and get a close-up of his hands. And since this was practice for wedding photography, and there's always, you know, that traditional shot of the newly married couple with their rings on holding hands, so that, well, this was good practice and be able to get in on the action with a 50mm. And so we took the time, kind of got in close while he was playing, and then to kind of give it more that artistic feel, gave it that sepia tone and a little bit of grain whenever we did the color correction. So I wanted to show you not just the good, but the bad and the ugly, and I'm not too jazzed about this photo. We left Austin up the street there, moved down to another place called Mugsy's, and they had this live band in there. And, you know, it's a picture. It shows a person with a saxophone. You don't know if he's playing it or not. As you notice there, I'm shooting on a 50mm, 1/60th of a second. I'm shooting above my focal length, so I'm safe from camera shake or motion blur. However, in this case, it might have been better if I shot at a lower shutter speed to catch a little bit of action, so to speak, a little bit of blur. You know, if he was rocking back and forth, or maybe the other band member was rocking back and forth and caught a little bit of blur, it would have made the image a little bit more exciting, I think, so that you would kind of be drawn into the setting rather than just, oh yeah, that's a band, a guy playing. It would have again told a little bit more of the story. This was also an opportunity to work on some wedding photography techniques. As you can see, I'm shooting at an ISO of 4000 with my aperture wide open. Even though I was having a lot of light flood in from the front window of the restaurant, the lighting on the other side of the musician was a bit low, it was a bit warm. So to get that detail, I was shooting at that higher ISO. There are times whenever you will run across this as a wedding photographer, whether it be a low lit reception hall, because lots of times with dancing and things like that, they keep it low lit. One time I was on a shoot and there was somebody who was sensitive to flashing lights, so we couldn't use flashes at all, so we had to compensate with using a higher ISO. What you see with that, you get a lot more noise. You take note of the picture on the left and you see the noise, or sometimes called the grain of the photo. Whereas if you didn't enlarge that photo, it may look fine. It's going to be something that you're going to enlarge or possibly put in an album. You have to keep that in consideration. If you're shooting at higher ISOs, you very well may get a good bit of noise. Now that can be compensated for or overcome by possibly applying a black and white style to it, a sepia tone to it, because then it kind of lends itself to an older, nostalgic feel of a photo. Well, here we have our last image that we're going to discuss. You know, some might just call that, well, it's just a sunset picture, which it is. It's a picture of a street, so it qualifies as street photography, I think. What I like about this is not just the sunset, catching the lights of the vehicles that are coming toward us, getting some of the vehicles with their yellow lights. Most importantly, catching the lights from the businesses on the sides of the cars that are parked along the streets there. I thought that was kind of cool in catching the feel of the street photography. So if you have any comments, concerns, or personal beliefs about any of the images that we've discussed, please let us know in the comments down below, or if you have some photos that you'd like to share with us, send them on over to us. If you enjoyed the video, give us a like. We'd appreciate that. If you enjoy photography and want to develop your skills, we'd like to invite you to become part of our 30-day photo challenge. That will help you to challenge yourself to become a better photographer every day.